Hi, it's Maria from Maria Tells a Story. My other channel that I'm on is Still Dreaming Homestead. So I hope you will even check out that one. So I'm just going to tell you a story today. And this is a story about when I was little. I am not really sure how old I was. I think I might have been around, I don't know, 7 or 8, maybe 6. I don't know if any of you are close to that age or if you have a brother or sister that is, but that's about the age I was. So when I was that age, I was afraid of a lot of things. I don't know if you are or not. I was afraid of bees. I was afraid they were going to sting me. I was afraid of our rooster because my rooster would chase me. I was afraid of snakes because I thought they would bite me. I was afraid of getting up high, that I might fall. Well, one of those things really happened one time, and I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to tell you how it happened, why it happened, and the good thing that happened because it happened. That's a lot of happenings. So, this one was, I was scared of wasps. Wasp is kind of like a bee, but it's not like a honeybee. And they have kind of long bodies and good-sized stingers, and I was very afraid of them. So my dad told me, Maria, if you don't bother them, they won't bother you. Well, my dad knew so many things that even though I was very afraid, I decided, he must be right. So one day, I'd been out playing with the neighbors, and we were by this old barn, and the neighbors had to go home. So I was by the barn, and all of a sudden, a wasp came flying by. So I thought, don't be scared, Maria. Don't be scared. If you don't bother it, it won't bother you. So I just stood up against that barn and I held very, very still. And you know what happened? It stung me right on the wrist. Ah! My dad had told me if I didn't bother it, I wasn't bothering it, I didn't think. I was holding very still right up against that barn. So I went home crying. Ah! I was just crying and crying because that wasp had stung me. And I had trusted what my dad told me. Well, after I finished fussing about that, Dad and I went back down to that barn and I showed him right where I stood so still. And do you know what was there? Where I was standing up against the barn, there was a little hole. And guess what kept going in and out of that little hole? Wasps. I had covered up the entrance to the wasp home. And I guess that's why it stung me. So I had to learn something. Well, that wasp sting swelled up real big. It was red and it was hot. It didn't feel good, not one little bit. Well, it was wintertime. And we got to go to my cousin's house the very next day. And my cousins' names were Kathy and Penny and Lily and Jackie. Oh, I loved them so much. And their place was so cool. You know why? Because they got snow there. We didn't get snow at our house very much, but they got snow there, and that snow was pretty deep. And us kids were out there walking, and there was another thing that I was afraid of. I was afraid of my Uncle Jack's goose. That goose thought that it was the only one that should stand by Uncle Jack. And if you got between that goose and Uncle Jack, it would take its bill and it would pinch you. Ow! I did not want to be pinched. I don't think I ever was pinched either. I stayed away from it. But my cousins had all been pinched. So when I was there, we didn't stay very close to Uncle Jack because that crazy old goose was always by him. It was cold outside in all that snow, you know. But this is the good thing that happened. When my cousin's hands got cold, or when my right hand got cold, they would come and they would put their hand on my red bee sting, where the wasp stung me, that was all swollen and hot, and they could warm up their little hands. I could even warm up one of my hands. So see, God makes things, even things that seem bad, have a good side to them. And the good side to them was I learned that if you got stung by a wasp, you didn't die. At least I didn't die. And I learned that if it's wintertime, you can use that bee sting to warm your hands. So I just thought you might like to hear the story of when I was afraid of so many things. I don't know if you are or not, but I know that I'm not afraid of so many things now. I'm not afraid of roosters. I'm not afraid of bees. I'm not afraid of most snakes. I never go around a goose. And heights, I can climb a little bit now. Maybe not really, really high, but I know that I'm really safe. So just know that you are really safe in most things that you're afraid of too. And always remember, God brings something good out of everything, even if it seems bad at the time. So this is Maria from Maria Tells a Story. I want to say I love you. I really do. Thank you for listening to the story. And remember, God loves you the very most. So try not to be afraid. Try to be happy. And keep a story in your heart. All right. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.